Ironman triathlon is a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, and then a marathon, so 26.2 miles. So that's that.
How long have you been vegan, Brendan?
I've been vegan for 18 years now. I just turned 33, and back when I was 15, that's when I became vegan. I actually became vegan to try and improve my athletic performance. I knew nothing about animal rights. I knew nothing about the environmental implications, but I just wanted to improve my performance as an athlete, and I didn't know where to start. I tried a whole bunch of different kinds of diets, and then I tried a plant-based diet, and at first, actually, it didn't work well at all. I was tired all the time and hungry, and then I figured out how to do it properly, and it worked great. I mean, a vegan diet, I think if it's done properly, is the best performance diet for any kind of athlete, and definitely the best kind of diet for health if it's done right, for sure.
Ever since you started the diet, you feel like your performance has been fine? Have you seen any problems at all? Have you gone to nutritionists that have criticized the diet? What's kind of been your experience?
Well, when I started off, definitely I got criticized by peers, and my mom, being a typical mother, asked that I meet with a nutritionist, so I did, and the nutritionist kind of tore the diet apart, and that actually encouraged me to stay with it and to try and evolve it myself, because I was curious and just kind of naturally stubborn, I think, as well at 15, and I wanted it to work at that point, and the resistance I got, I think, actually did help me look at it as a challenge, and I like challenges, so I did stick with it, and I tried different things, and then I got to the point where it worked really well. But yeah, at first there was criticism for sure, but then once I started performing well, of course, that all dissolved, and people started asking me questions about nutrition. So that was actually why I wrote my book, The Thrive Diet, is because the tables were turned. Then I was being the one asked, so that was pretty nice.
Well, we'll ask you a little bit about Farm Sanctuary. You're here today at the Gene Bauer official book signing in Hollywood. How long have you known about Farm Sanctuary, and what do you think about the kind of work that they're doing?
Well, I first learned about Farm Sanctuary, I guess it was about 3 to 4 years ago, when I started doing some research online for other benefits of being vegan, really, because of course, like I said, I did it for selfish reasons. I did it to try and be a better athlete, but then of course I learned about the environmental reasons and the implications that a vegan diet had for other causes, such as, like I say, the environment, but also animal rights and just the way we treat animals. And I just became interested in that and thought, well, it makes perfect sense that even if it wasn't for the athletic component now, I still wouldn't, of course, eat animals or have that as part of my life, because it just doesn't make sense at any level. So I got interested in Farm Sanctuary after reading some of that stuff, and I just have been following them for a while and Gene's work for a bit. I don't know all the details, so it'll be great to read his book. I'm really looking forward to it and just learning the whole history, but the organization is great, and I definitely support it. I think what he's done is phenomenal and really inspirational.
If you had to say a few words about Gene Bauer, what would those words be to describe the kind of person that you think?
Wait 1 second. Go ahead.
Anytime.
Prabhath, you gotta sit down and give him an eyeline.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Okay, now we're ready.
Are you ready?
Yep.
I would say for Gene, if I had to describe him to someone, I would say just passionate, selfless, someone who really cares beyond himself, beyond even family and people, and he really sees a big picture of the all-encompassing caring, and that animals are so much a part of that obviously he's dedicated a huge chunk of his life to helping the cause, and it's really phenomenal, and I think his work is absolutely, like I say, inspirational. Just great work that has to be done, and it's so good that he's taken charge there and is doing it.
What would you hope for Farm Sanctuary in the next 10 years?
I would hope for Farm Sanctuary that they just keep doing what they're doing and keep growing at a good steady rate, getting more members, getting the awareness out there. I think that's one of the biggest things, is so many people are going to say that they don't like cruelty to animals, to anyone. No one's going to say that they condone that. So getting the word out that Farm Sanctuary exists, people will then realize that what they do in their everyday life, if they eat animals, is supporting cruelty. And I think that will open a lot of people's eyes. So I think there's such a huge pool to draw from. Obviously, there's most people, of course, in North America eat meat on a regular basis and dairy, and I think that just spreading the word and letting people realize that they're supporting something that is cruel, and then the light will go on, and they'll get it, and they will stop being part of that.
My last question to Brendan and Brazier, the triathlete, the Ironman, is if you had to encourage somebody out there to become vegan, what would you tell them?
Depends if I knew the person, and knowing what is important to that person. If I knew it was health, I would talk about the health aspects. There's 910,000 deaths a year in North America due to cardiovascular disease. That's due to diet and lifestyle, mostly diet. People eating too much meat and dairy. I mean, that's obviously huge. Arthritis, osteoporosis, diabetes, all these diseases caused by overconsumption of animal products. Performance, as an athlete, you want to perform better, first you got to get healthy. And to get healthy, plant-based diet's the way to do it. Environmental, of course, the production of food and transportation is the number one use of fossil fuel, and animal consumption is because obviously that's a huge draw because of all the fossil fuel that has to be burned to fuel that huge industry. Or of course ethical too. If you have pets that you care for, but well, how are pigs and cows and other animals really that different? They're very intelligent, just like dogs or cats. So there's that disconnect. So I would try and make that clear to them if that's the sort of person they were. But there's so many angles, of course, you can talk about depending on who it is you're talking to, that I think are very effective. Just picking the right one.
Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you.
Great job.